What's going on, man? How's it going?
Hey, what's up, buddy?
How you feel about today's topic, man?
Very excited about it. I know you're excited about it.
Yeah, I'm like all giddy and stuff. So today we're gonna be discussing what cultural appropriation. It's gonna be a fun topic, man.
Yeah,
I
should
think
be
so.
interesting.
I think so because I'm very conflicted on the topic, so I'm excited about talking about it. So, for those of you joining us, the daily chat starts as soon as I find the intro.
Good job. All right. Well, it's all...
Welcome to Daily Chat.
For those of you joining us,
That's so controversial. Yeah, that was awkward. I am Rick, and I'm joined with my co-host Kyle from the work.
yeah, somewhat. What's up?
How's it going? Today's topic is cultural appropriation, man. Welcome, show. Always a pleasure to have you.
What's up? What's up?
I don't know. You tell me, man. So, what do we got with cultural appropriation, man? We're gonna start with the definition.
Yeah, I feel like we need to
as?
put that out there straight,
Yeah.
so we can get it out there because I was familiar with the action, not so much the term.
Right.
So it was explaining to me. We talked about it before, but it was explained to me in better detail today. So, cultural appropriation is the adaptation of an element or elements of one's culture or identity by members of another culture or identity. That didn't help. So pretty much, in my opinion, in layman's terms, when one culture adapts, well, I was gonna say saying pretty much the same thing. When one culture kind of like swagger jacks and another culture, or they kind of use it and kind of redevelop it, or I guess you could say rebrand it, in my opinion.
Okay. Yeah. Let me see if I could find something really quick.
So,
right.
So what do you feel about it though? Because I know you've been wanting to talk about this topic for like the last 2 weeks now.
I call horseshit.
Oh really? Oh okay. Oh
no, to a certain extent, it's like what, I can't enjoy a taco because I'm not from that culture, and I love tacos. It's
that's not it though. I don't think that. I think that's a simple, very basic, simple form of it. If that's just eating Mexican food.
I know, but it's been simplified to that much. There was a conversation about a Caucasian family throwing a Indian themed birthday party for their kid, and they got so much flack over it. People were calling that cultural appropriation, and that's how simple it's gotten, where you can't even celebrate certain things because people feel like you're stealing from their, or trying to exploit another culture for your own gain.
I mean, I would say, my opinion, that could be an example of it. That could be that could. I really do think that's an example of it. It's one thing to pay homage to a culture, right?
Mm-hmm.
But if that's like saying for me, right? If I have a family and I do something like that, and I don't know the true meaning or the actual, definition or meaning definition, same thing, but I don't know the proper routines, and I'm just doing it. I'm just Americanizing it the way I want to. That's kind of disrespectful to that culture. You don't think?
All right, we're talking about a kid's birthday party. They watched Toy Story. They loved the Cowboys and Indians thing, and they favor the Indian aspect of it. I mean, do you think that applies?
I don't think that that's an Indian birthday party. I just think that's a kids' party with Cowboys and Indians theme.
No, but that's exactly what it was, though. In that particular situation, they were saying that they shouldn't be doing that because they consider that cultural appropriation.
I'm not sure about cultural appropriation, but I do see the problem with it, though. Cowboys and Indian theme party for a child. I do see that the problem with it itself, but
okay.
I think I would have an issue with it, but I'm not going to make a big deal about it because at the end of the day, what you do in your household, that's on you.
Right.
I'm more concerned about the larger scale of it, where companies are making billions of dollars off of it. You know, that's what
Okay,
I'm more concerned about.
I can definitely see that aspect of it, 100%.
Yeah.
Thank you for joining us. Motivation and consistency is key. Appreciate you. And L'Oreal, what do you mean when you say it could be negative or positive? I'd love to hear more on that.
He's probably
And
talking about cultural appropriation.
okay, and do you know when the concept came about? I looked it up, and there's a relatively new term which just was recently explored around the 1980s. So
Okay.
it's a relatively new term. So
Well, I can see why. I can see why. Because maybe I'm just assuming, like I said, the reason why I would assume it's
mm,
is something that happened recently is because you start acknowledging other cultures, um, and giving them a seat at the table. And then once you start giving people and cultures a seat at the table, you then have
mm,
to kind of fit them at the table, you know, as far as laws goes and terminology and stuff like that.
right. This Facebook user brings up a pretty good point, which I also want to explore a little bit. This Facebook user says, but eating tacos is not cultural appropriation because why would someone open a taqueria if not to sell tacos to whomever wants to eat tacos? But what if that taqueria was opened up by someone other than a Mexican or someone who uh, created the taco? Like, is there a problem then? What do you think,
Hmm.
Kyle?
I don't see an issue with it. It's a type of food. Um, it's really like a type of food. So, you know, I've seen I believe Mexicans open up pizzerias. I've
Right.
been, you know, I mean,
So would that be a form of cultural appropriation? Like you're taking someone's a form of someone's culture and monetizing it for your benefit.
I guess if you want to put it like that, yeah. I mean, yeah. Again, what we're talking about is pennies and nickels compared to the major companies that are doing it. A local pizzeria ran by Mexicans or people from Middle Eastern descent. It's, you could say, cultural appropriation, but
Mm.
are you really going to get like a big kickback for that? I don't think so.
I don't know. I think that's where I have big problems with this because I think they talk about it on such a small scale and it becomes such a big deal. How do you feel about cultural appropriation as it applies to Thanksgiving?
What do you mean as far as?
All right, you know how we celebrate Thanksgiving, but you know the story behind it is
Mhm.
that it's not such a peaceful thing. Obviously, there's murder, rape, and
Yeah,
you know how they
but
s- that
I don't think
culture
that's
habitually.
cultural appropriation. That's just we're celebrating a screwed up holiday. We celebrating a genocide. I don't think but that's the that's an American culture thing. So,
Mm,
you know, I think a a better example of it would be if I threw a New Year's party celebrating
mm,
Chinese New Year, and it's not an Asian person at the party, but everything is Chinese New Year, you know, themed.
right.
That's more of it, you know, than I would say. But again, I think that it has to be a financial benefit to it to for that to be considered, you know, cultural appropriation.
Okay, so let's take it to a larger scale. Let's talk about cinema.
Where it happens the most, you know.
Right. That's big
Um,
scale money. We're talking millions and millions,
yeah,
if not billions of dollars.
yeah, yeah.
So
I think
should I be able to tell a story that is not a part of my culture?
it happens all the time. It literally happens all the time.
Right.
We like, for example, I believe the person who wrote
Hmm.
set it off as a movie about four African American women and I believe it's Los Angeles, you
Hmm.
know, who are hard times inside the rob a bank, written by white guys. I mean, and like I said, it happens all the time, but it's I think it's easier to identify other times. You know,
Okay.
me and my friend Eb, who was kind of educating me on this earlier, we was talking
Mhm.
about in Dreamgirls, a perfect example of it in Dreamgirls. Have you seen it?
No.
Okay, I'm gonna try not to judge you, but anyways, in Dreamgirls, there's a scene where a black artist played by Eddie Murphy puts out a
Mhm.
song. It's a hit, right?
Okay.
And then you see it cuts to the song being taken word for word singing by a white artist, and he changes it up and is getting credit for it.
Okay.
Cultural appropriation slash thievery, yes,
Yeah,
but
absolutely.
that's it right there.
All right. So I was looking up at some examples of cultural appropriation to talk about art, literature, iconography, religion, spirituality, fashion, hairstyles. All right, let's go to that. Let's go to how do you feel about like a Caucasian that wears dreads? Is that cultural appropriation or is that cultural appreciation? And how do you decipher the two?
How do I feel
How do you
about it?
differentiate the two? Right.
I wouldn't necessarily. I don't know. I have like, see, I'm not. It's not black and white for me, right?
Right.
For me, it's a case by case scenario.
Mm-hmm.
It's a case by case scenario. I think it is. Yeah, I really think it's a case by case scenario. I don't have a problem with it of a white person wearing locks. I
Right.
don't have a problem with it.
I would think that's more of a cultural appreciation. You're not doing it as a mockery or as a
Yes,
benefit.
it's no
That's
gain.
something that
You're not. Yeah, it's no gain for you.
it's something that you saw that you enjoy. Or how do you feel about if a Hispanic is wearing like a dashiki, like one of those African
Hmm.
robes?
Yeah,
Or like if you're just wearing something like from another culture's religion because you thought it was cool, is that a form of cultural appropriation or is that a cultural appreciation?
it's a like I said, for me,
It's
it's
a thin line, right?
it's appreciation when you're doing it for self. It's appropriation once you are gaining benefit from it, as far as financial.
Right. And I think that most people, like when they're making these judgments, they don't know the person, right? They'll see the person, but oh my god, this white dude's wearing dreads. That's just not cool. But you don't know what if that person was raised in that culture. Like you see that
Yeah,
all the time. Like I told you about the story about my friend who's Asian and Jamaican. He looks 100% Asian, but has the biggest Jamaican accent. I told you it was blowing my mind. I thought he was making fun of Jamaican. I was like, his fucking his thing is on point, bro. I was waiting. I was like, his thing is on point. I'm not sure. I don't know too much about this, so I can't really talk on it. It says how about Valentine's Day? Wasn't it a massacre and people celebrate it as a day of love now? Are you familiar with that?
yeah, the Saint Valentine's Day massacre.
Mm-hmm.
Massacre. I mean, again, that goes more so back to the Thanksgiving thing.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't consider, let's not really consider that a cultural appropriation or appreciation. It's just an event that they uh, deemed should be a holiday for some reason. Yeah,
That's interesting. And I like what this person said also. It was like, I feel if the culture is not disrespected, in my opinion, I guess it's okay.
that's fair.
Right.
That's fair. But I mean, a lot of the times it is a disrespect to the culture.
Right.
A lot of times it is, and we see it so many times. It is like I believe not too long ago, Matt Damon, I
Mm-hmm.
hope, got and took some flack because he was in a movie called The Great Wall, I believe,
Right.
and he was playing a warrior, an Asian warrior, I believe, something like that. And it
Mm-hmm.
was like, we could have got an Asian character to play this role,
How do you feel about that as far as cultural appropriation is concerned? There's the terminology gets thrown out a lot. They say that a lot of roles are being whitewashed, like played by
Hmm.
Caucasian characters. How do you feel as someone who's going to be making films and stuff like that? Do you think that that's important when it comes to creating something that a story? Are you looking for the best actor for the role, or do you think that a certain culture should be represented by that specific culture?
I believe that is all based off the script, right? So
Hmm.
if I have a character, let's call him a Mel for now. If I have a Mel and he was raised in Brownsville, Brooklyn, most likely that guy's gonna look like me. He's not
Right.
gonna look like Brad Pitt, right? So most likely that guy's gonna look like me. Just based off the area. Well, yeah, just based off that area still. So that's an example of it right there. So if Brad Pitt decides to play that role, that's the issue right there. That's the
Yeah.
appropriation. It's like, there's no way this guy should be playing that. And you have to be realistic too. Just like me playing somebody in middle America, one of those rural areas of middle America. It's not ideal.
Right. Someone just asked to hop in to join the conversation. So I put the link to join the conversation on both the Facebook chat and YouTube chat. So if you guys want to join, just definitely let us know. You can hang out in the waiting room, and we'll let you in when we're ready to discuss your point.
Yeah. So, what do you think? You have never seen a movie you like? Wow, why was that person white, or why was that person black, or why was that person Asian? Where it could have been something else. When it could have been something else.
I mean, I think I'm more involved. I'm more concerned about the story when it comes to cinema. As long as the story is told really, really well, I can appreciate it. And I think one of the first times I've heard the term about whitewashing was when one of my favorite female actresses, Scarlett Johansson, was playing. I forget the name of the movie, but it was It was a big Asian movie.
Was she playing Lucy?
No, not Lucy. It wasn't Lucy at all. It was something. Damn it, Ghost in the Shell.
Never seen it.
Ghost in the Shell is a Japanese animated film, and it got transitioned to live action.
Okay.
All right. So we have Jocelyn in the back room. We're gonna let her come in and say her part in reference to what she has to say about cultural appropriation. All right. Boom. Well, welcome, Jocelyn.
Hello, Jocelyn.
You can hear me?
Yeah, a little.
Okay. Hear me now?
Yeah, it sounds
Same
a little
thing.
muffled. A little muffled.
Okay. Better?
Not really.
No, not that yet.
If it's on speaker, maybe take it off of speaker.
No, what is it? Hold on. Better?
Oh,
Much.
perfect. Perfect.
Okay, so I don't know much about this topic. I'm interested. I like hearing you guys talk about stuff. I learn a lot. But I have a question, or maybe it's more a concern, because I love the movie Coco.
Right.
You guys have watched the movie Coco.
I have. Absolutely.
Okay. So my parents passed away. My mom passed away 5 years ago, and my dad passed away 2 years ago. And in our culture, you every year you bring, make an altar and you do the whole prayer thing, and then it's done, and you bring them back the next year with the same prayers and stuff. Every time I watch Coco, I get so excited because it brings emotions where I want to put my mom's picture, not just on El Día de los Muertos, on the Day of the Dead, but I just want to have my mom's pictures and make an altar for her. And I feel like I'm pulling out from the Mexican culture of El Día de los Muertos, which is the Day of the Dead, day after Halloween, or Halloween Day, something like that. I just love that piece of culture. And if I do that, if I am able to bring that into my own culture, I feel like I am paying homage to that Mexican part of that culture. I'm not disrespecting in any way. I don't feel I'm disrespecting, but I like it. I love it. And I want to do that because it makes me happy to show respect to my dead people. I don't know if that makes sense.
No, I think it makes a lot of sense, because I think what you're doing is adopting someone's culture into your own. And if you're adopting someone's culture, I think that shows a huge, great sign of respect and admiration for that aspect of the culture. So I personally don't think it should be a problem. I don't think that just because you're not Mexican, you shouldn't be able to do that. And I think that's where I start to have a problem with the whole concept of cultural appropriation. I think it's too easily misconstrued and overused for a lot of situations. And that's where I think the conflict comes in. But I mean, I think people adopt various parts of different cultures into their everyday lives, just like we said, because they really like it, they really enjoy it, they appreciate it, and they think it's something that they want to continue to do and share.
Yeah, I agree. I think, like I was saying earlier, there's no gain from adapting a culture, a ceremony from a culture. I don't think it's a disrespectful thing at all, especially more so of appreciation. And you have the right to choose the way you want to remember your loved ones, how you seem fit. So, like I said, I don't think it's culture appropriation at all. It would definitely more go into the sense of, appreciation and just adapting a way of life. I think we mentioned it earlier. I know I did. It really comes down to the gain of what you're getting out of the adaptation from another culture.
Yeah, I want to touch on some of these comments here also.
I get the feeling that if you feel good about it and you are not disrespecting it, then I think it's so good.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
No, thanks,
you're very, very
appreciate
welcome.
it so much.
All right. Some of the people made some really good points. What did they say here? All right. This one. What about what Fantastic Four? I'm assuming they're talking about when
Michael
they
G.
change.
Gordon.
Yeah, when they take a character and change the ethnicity.
Mm-hmm.
I have a huge problem with this, but not so much. It don't have a lot to do with the ethnicity. It has to do with the character itself. Like for me, when you're making an adaptation of something, that really, really, really bothers me, especially when you're in love with, like, let's say, I want to say perfect example. If you loved apples, right?
I'm allergic to them.
Oh, humor me, okay?
All right.
Tell me something you do love. Something you do love.
I love banana pudding.
Fine. You love banana pudding. You love the color of it, the consistency, the smell, the taste. Fine. What if I gave you I want to see something that completely changes the way it looks, smells, and tastes.
Well, you made it with Oreos instead of vanilla wafers.
No, I wanted to. All right. I wanted to taste the same, right?
Mm-hmm.
But look completely different. Would you still be able to enjoy it?
Absolutely. That happens all the time.
Really?
That literally happens all the time with not banana pudding, but things like if I go to if I go to someone else's house and they may make their macaroni and cheese, just for example, with different types of cheese or different types of seasoning, that's just I wouldn't say again a culture appropriation is just something with an adaptation of how they want to do it.
So all right, I'm going with the term that I was going to talk about a little bit easier. With the apple, right?
Okay, back to the apple.
Yeah, you love the apple, right? You love the way it looks, the way it tastes, right? And now if I tell you, yo, have this orange is an apple. It tastes exactly like the apple. It just looks different. Are you gonna be able to take that orange and eat it like an apple, like right away? You'll be all right. I'll take it at face value. You say it's an apple, I'll take it. It's an apple.
Yes,
you can do that right away. I can't. I can't. Like I had a huge problem when they changed the ethnicities of certain characters that I'm in love with.
I think if it's a good actor, it doesn't make a difference.
I hope that's the case. I hope that's the case, but it's the visual connection, man. It's like I don't know. It's hard. Like when at first I had a problem with Clark, the big black dude that died from the Green Mile.
Michael B. Clark, Michael B. Duncan, Michael Clark Duncan. I'm sorry.
Something like that.
I'm so sorry. I gotta Google him. I don't want to.
Yeah, I was as a comic book fan. I was hugely pissed off. Kingpin,
and Daredevil.
Right. I was furious. I was fucking upset because to me that wasn't Kingpin, right?
Because it's black.
Exactly. That's Kingpin. Yeah, Kingpin's not black.
Kingpin is a fictional character.
Yes,
he's a fictional character.
No,
but now
100%.
Let's before we even get to that,
right?
Before we even say like, all right, because in particular with superheroes in comic books, right? You're going to get that remember when a lot of these stories was written, America was one way, and America's slightly different now, right? So to see, we're just now starting to see black leads as not just black and Hispanic people lead roles, right?
Right.
And we're not even going to mention women yet because that's all in the same boat,
Right.
We're just now starting to see this, right? So when those comics are written, they're coming from that point of view. That's why a lot of them are white males. A lot of the heroes that I'm not serious. A lot of that's why
I agree.
A lot of white males. What's wrong with seeing Hispanic or black Superman? You gonna tell me, because he's white?
It's hard for me. I don't
character.
No,
Krypton didn't have any black people.
I don't think they did though. I don't know. That's a good question. I'm actually gonna look that up. Were there any black people on Krypton?
Man, listen, I said go for it. It happened so much one way. I'm curious to see a black Bruce Wayne or Hispanic Bruce Wayne.
You know what's funny? I'm actually hypocritical on this topic because I was just talking about, I have a problem with people talking about like whitewashing the roles and stuff like that. But then I'm also saying that, I don't like when my characters are changed. Yeah. So I guess I have conflicting viewpoints when it comes to that. I guess, I pick and choose when it comes to that because I guess with that I didn't care because I don't know about the character. But when it's people that I do know, like what's someone that you care about? Like if they change their ethnicity, that would bother you.
If they change ethnicity, would it bother me?
Right.
The Black Panther.
I think universally everybody would be.
I'm like, what the hell is this? But you know what did bother me? A lot of these at one point, a lot of these movies that were Gods of Egypt, right? That was a movie.
Right.
Major backlash for it. Because all these Egyptians, quote unquote Egyptians,
right,
they look one way and was like, history tells us that's not the case.
Right.
So I mean, again, the only
it's conflicting. It really is conflicting.
It's not a black and white thing. No pun intended. Right. It's a gray area there, because it happens in music a lot. That happens in music a lot too. We have a type of music that is being adapted and changed up. What's up?
Somebody I know. Mama is a huge fan of Henry Cavill. And she says, only Henry Cavill can play Superman. She loves him. But I know that she's a huge fan of Henry Cavill. It doesn't matter what he does.
So I mean, I would like to see different ethnic groups get a shot at it, at different roles,
No, I get it, but there's just certain things that you're probably going to hate me for this, man. But I don't know if you know this about me, but I am a huge Little Mermaid fan.
A huge what?
Little Mermaid fan.
Oh, okay.
So they cast the African American girl for the role.
Yes.
And it bothered me so much because I didn't care about her acting ability, her skill set. For me, I'm not going to see Little Mermaid, and this is. Well, I'm not going to see. I know.
It is a fictional character. We are. Let's put that out there. There is no real Little Mermaid. It's a fictional character.
No, I get that 100%. But cool. I'm so in love with that movie, and there's a lot of movies that I think when they transition to the big screen, that you have to do the original justice, right? I love Beauty and the Beast. I think regardless of the ethnicity, that whole thing was miscast. I hated the casting for Beauty and the Beast.
Never watched it.
Well, don't go watch the animated movie.
Gotcha.
So anyway, we strayed too far.
I'm very. This is it because we are on two different sides of this one. Like we cannot be more different on this one.
No, I agree, but I'm also conflicted because it depends, right? It depends because, like I said, when it came to a different topic where I'm not invested in emotionally, I don't care, right? But then when it comes to a topic that I am emotionally invested in, now it's a problem. So it's something I'm definitely conflicted in with myself.
I would only have an issue, right? If it was a character that was a non-fictional character,
right?
Non-fictional character,
right?
Yeah.
Okay. I agree with you wholeheartedly. Yeah.
You can't get somebody who's not black to play Muhammad Ali. Just don't work.
Understood.
You might be able to get away with it, Michael Jackson, depending on what part of life you're trying to do. But
all right, I don't know. How about
I'm joking. I'm not joking. I'm joking with that. No, you cannot. You cannot get away with that.
Right.
That person has to be black too.
What if
But
they're just a really incredible actor?
no, it's a historical figure. That
I
person
know.
was that. No, so I mean, I think that, and we're just talking about cinema right now because this is a really broad topic, right? We're talking about cinema, but
Right. But that's where it gets done. I think that's where cultural appropriation happens the most.
but between that and in the music industry,
Right.
I
That
believe.
music. Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
But oh shit, the music industry, I have to. I'm a little conflicted with also because you have the M&Ms who appreciates the culture and he adopted it, right? Just like with Jocelyn was talking about how she adopted certain part of a culture into her own because she really likes it. So how do you feel about that? Do you think that Eminem culturally appropriated? Do you think he took advantage of a culture, or do you think that that's something that he grew up with and appreciated and decided to make a part of his life?
Eminem in my book is top 5 for me. He's top
Okay.
5 rappers. I don't think he did any type of appropriation at all. It was more so a sense of a appreciation, and he didn't come in there trying to sound like someone else. He came in there trying to sound like Eminem.
Yeah, he had his own voice.
He had his own voice. He had his own thing going on, and yeah, I think he's a exception. Would you consider Vanilla Ice in that same boat?
No, I think that I think he was constructed. No, because I don't
Exactly,
think that,
exactly.
no,
It's no like
that's a
it's no-
very good point.
yeah.
Because like he was created, right? It's not like he
Yeah.
wanted to rap, right? I think he was always into rock and stuff like that. But they said, "Yo, you have a good image," and he was created,
Yeah.
you know, and particularly to bring the hip hop culture over to the Caucasian element, and that shit it worked, it blew up. So that was I personally think that was a
Appropriation.
cultural appropriation.
Yeah. So here's the thing now, right? Now we have, since we're in the music thing, right? So we have some famous guitarists who are African American.
Lenny Kravitz,
Jimi Hendrix, one of my personal favorite, Gary Clark Jr. So, you know, again, music is a weird thing, right? Because it's a type of music. You can't control what your ears like and what you want to get into. These guys, exactly. Great point. If a person fits that genre of music, they just fit that genre of music, you know. And as long as they're trying to be themselves and they just sound like that, some people can't help how they sound, and it works, you know.
That's true. That's true. Definitely, I agree. Are there any questions that we forgot to address? We talked about examples of cultural appropriation. We actually got the question up there twice. What does it mean to you? When did the concept come about?
Yeah, I mean, the movie thing for me is really weird though.
Right.
I'll be honest with you, because it's like movies have to start, you know, representing how America looks.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I believe that it's time for some diversity.
I think that we live in a time where we live in a time where Hollywood no longer controls that component of film. I think that we talked about this many times before. A lot of actors complain that there aren't opportunities, but I think that we live in a much different time where we pretty much can control our destinies. We can create the opportunities that we don't have. How do you feel about that?
I think it's a yes and no type of thing, right?
Okay.
Ideally, we would say that's the perfect world that we can create our path, right?
Mm-hmm.
But if you are an actor and you are only getting casted for the same thing, again, you have the right to say no.
Right.
You do have the right to say no, but it's like, how do you ever get out that cycle if you're always casted that?
You got to say no to those roles.
You got to say no to those roles and move on, you know. But
with Rachel McAdams,
yes,
she gets cast for the same role. She don't turn them down. She even did the same movie twice. Yeah, it was. I think it was A Time to Love and the Time Traveler's Wife. They were both about her partner being a time traveler. I was like, okay, that's awkward.
But you know what? Here's an example. Not to kind of switch shifts, but an example.
Right.
And The Matrix, right?
Mm-hmm.
The original cast. Neo was supposed to be Will Smith.
That's Will Smith saying no to the role.
Okay, but no, but that means that role had no ethnic identity to it. That's the point I'm trying to make. That role had no ethnic identity to it. It could have been Will Smith. It could have been Keanu Reeves. It could have been Tom Cruise. Hopefully not. It could have been any of those guys. You know, but if a role is made for a ethnic group, it has to go with that ethnic group.
Oh, 100% understood. But I also want to encourage all actors to apply for every role, man. Because like you'll be surprised, man. They will if you perform the shit out of that role, they will change the ethnicity and say, "Wow, this person really embodies the character that we're looking for."
We just did that. We literally just did that. I was casting for a short film.
Yeah, Kelly.
And yeah, the girl name was the woman's name was Kelly, and the person who killed the role was not a Kelly, not quote unquote a Kelly looking person.
Right.
You know, what would you say the name would more likely be?
Maria.
Maria.
You don't want to step for your home.
So yeah, the person would be more so on the lines of Maria than a Kelly.
Right.
And so now what we have to do, we have to change it to fit Maria. We have to change the script to fit Maria now instead of Kelly.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So what we got over here in some of these comments there.
Robert Thicke has soul. Definitely. Absolutely. That guy is talented.
Yeah, that guy's talented. He's still heartbroken, but he's talented.
Yeah, some people touched on the whole originals versus remakes things.
Yep. Oh, okay. Keeping it original.
Yeah.
All right.
And someone wrote, shout out to Tyler Perry. Random.
Yeah. Super random.
Hey, so you notice her name?
Who's that? Oh. Maria.
They're everywhere, man. They're everywhere.
Yeah, man. I mean,
and then the last one, Jamie Foxx is getting ready to play Mike Tyson. Absolutely, it has that. Like he was saying, when it's a biopic,
yeah,
you can't stray from the ethnicity. You can't get a Caucasian guy to play Mike Tyson, no matter how awesome he is.
Yeah. But so, all right, how about let's talk about this topic real quick, because since we're on the cinema, remember in Tropic Thunder,
right?
That is now in the movie, the story within the story, right? So Robert Downey Jr. Yeah, he's playing a African American man.
No, he isn't.
No, I'm sorry. Inside the movie, inside the movie, he's playing an African American man, right?
Right.
So
he's playing an Australian, playing an African American.
Yes, exactly. So, yeah, sorry about that. Yeah. So in the movie, Robert Downey Jr. is an actor, right? And he is casted for a role, and they play with it. They make fun of it, right?
Right.
They talk about how he's always been controversial with his picks. I mean, his films, and how he's going full in. He's got the pigmentation surgery, and he's all in. So that's the joke of the culture appropriation right there. But I'm not gonna lie, he nailed that that guy he was playing. He was really good at as the black sergeant.
Yeah.
So would you consider that appropriation or appreciation?
No, in Tropic Thunder, I think for one, it's a comedy. Obviously, it's a spoof. Yeah. It's a spoof on Hollywood when they try to do those kind of things. It does happen, and that's why it works. Would that movie work today? Is a better question.
Man, Iron Man can do anything he want, bro. Iron Man can't do no wrong right now.
It's true. He actually, Jamie Foxx reached out to him to play a Mexican.
I remember that. Yes,
yeah,
I remember
that. I love his impression of RDJ. All right, Jamie, sure, I'll do it. He does a really good impression.
Yeah, he does.
So, what happened to that movie?
Probably got canned.
Yeah, or shelved or something. That was years ago, and I never seen not even a trailer for it.
Yeah.
So yeah. All right, man. With that said, man, we are kind of like short on time this week, but I think we covered everything that we wanted to cover with this topic, and I want to appreciate and thank everyone that showed up today, man. You guys are a huge part of this thing, and like I said, this platform is about having open discussion, so we welcome you guys to join these conversations. We want to hear from your opinions, your viewpoints. We are not professionals in any of these topics. We just want to discuss them because everybody has a different opinion, everybody has different upbringing, different exposure, different experiences, and this is about educating. It's a platform for discussion, for civil discussion. We may not always agree, but damn it, we should talk about it.
Oh, there you go, Rick. There you go, Rick. Your Jerry Springer sign off. There you go.
Jerry Springer, come on, man. All right, man. So with that said, man, I love you guys. Take care. Have a great evening, Kyle. Always a pleasure to have you, man.
What we talking
I
about
always look forward. That's a coin toss because I do the promo and then we do the show. So I don't really have anything to promote tomorrow. I'll see what I can find. Let's see if anybody wants to.
I wish I could get the Workz up here so we could discuss a podcast. Let me talk to these guys.
Yeah, we'll throw that in there. Jump a quick and then jump into a discussion. And if anybody who's listening out there, if there's something that you would like to promote that you got going on in your life, that's what I try to do on my Thursday show. I try to take that opportunity to help other people out. Even though my audience is small, every little person that you could introduce whatever you have going on to counts, man. One person is a plus. So if you have something going on in your life that you want to promote, hit me up and join the show on Thursdays and we'll talk about it. We'll post a link in our description so people can find you and your content and the stuff that you're promoting.
Sounds good.
All right. These people.
Yeah, no, I just saw that.
I love you guys, man. So you guys,
if we go into that's a whole nother 20 minutes.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Absolutely.
You want to just show it?
Yeah. Show it. Yeah. Show them. Big mama. That would be hilarious. But see, that's comedy. See, I don't think that would be cultural appropriation at all. But do you think comedies could cultural appropriate?
Nothing applies to comedy, bro. Comedy has its free range to do whatever they want, man.
I agree 100%, man. Comedy should be 100%. What's the word when you don't pay taxes?
Exempt.
Yes. Comedy should be exempt from all laws of society. No, yeah. and I have a reason for this, man, because we don't know what we find funny. Believe it or not, we don't know what we're gonna find funny. Somebody could bust their ass and break their leg, and you'll laugh before you find out that they broke something because you don't even know why you're laughing.
Yeah,
we don't have control. I firmly believe we don't have control over the things that make us laugh. We don't have control of the stuff that we find funny. So when it comes to comedy, they should be 100% exempt from all social laws, social views, because
they should be immune to cancel culture. That's what you're saying.
Basically 100%, because I mean the whole premise about comedy is to make you laugh. So if you get offended, that's not the intention. That just means that that's not for you. That's not your cup of tea. Don't watch it. They're not force feeding it to you. It's not like you have to watch something that bothers you. And that's another conversation I want to get into also, man.
Yep, there you go. I think we got something for tomorrow, if anything.
All right, let's go, man. Let's go, because I'm passionate about that. I'm wearing my gloves tomorrow, man. Start toughening